I have this really insanely deep feeling of loneliness. And there's only one reason I feel this way. Have y'all ever seen The Boys? Well, in The Boys, there's this character named Homelander who's basically Superman, right? And in his universe, he is the strongest person. He is the strongest man in his universe. And he set this bar, he set this quote. When you're the strongest in the universe, you get super lonely. And I can relate to that on like a deep level. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm the strongest being on like planet Earth. That's not what I'm saying at all. But on Brawlhalla, nigga, I am so powerful. I'm so godlike. Brawlhalla is the first like fighting game in like years that I've genuinely like deeply gotten into. But it's so sad that every day I get on it, I turn my Xbox on and I get on Brawlhalla and I just watch everybody I see. Like imagine being a track star, right? Imagine you're doing track. And then one day you wake up with the ability to run at the speed of light. Like you can still compete against like, you know, other fast humans, like, you know, some of the other fastest humans alive. But at the end of the day, you move at the speed of light. They can challenge you. They can be better challengers to you than fucking regular people, but they're still nothing. They're still slow to you. There are some competent players on Brawlhalla who, you know, sometimes, you know, make me think a little bit, but for the most part, everyone's the same. Everyone is below me. The only times that I'm able to find a challenge in Brawlhalla is either in handicap matches to where I'm fighting multiple opponents or in ranked 2v2 matches with my friends. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say my friends are weak, right? But they ain't me, and I can't be mad at them for not being as good as me. I'm literally the greatest. I was reading Jujutsu Kaisen and some of the villains were discussing Gojo's weakness, and he only has one, and that is when he's not alone. He is his strongest when he's fighting alone, but whenever there's a teammate or people around him or he's fighting side by side with someone, they always just weaken him or like they hold him back because he can't go all out if there's people he have to look out for. You see what I'm saying? Now I have a friend, for the sake of this video, let's call him Kiryu. So one time me and Kiryu, we were grinding some ranked 2v2s, you know, washing literally everyone who came face to face with us, and we encountered two sweats, like two like sweaty sweats, like PC player sweats. Now if you've never played Brawlhalla, basically there's 2v2s and ranked 2v2s. In ranked 2v2s, there's team damage. On top of team damage being on, the maps are usually really small for 2v2 maps. Like they literally use 1v1 maps for 2v2 maps for ranked 2v2s. So I had to avoid doing damage to my boy Kiryu while holding off my opponent, while trying to pay attention to Kiryu and his opponent to not get stuck in the crossfire of their fight. These are all major issues. We had two main problems though. Our opponents weren't bad at the game, like I said, they were like really fucking sweaty. And another is that they had no regard for each other. So they can throw out their little measly attacks at each other and hurt each other, and they're alright. But if I just started going all out, I would have no choice but to kill my homie, and I didn't want to do that. The entire point of running 2v2s with him is so he can have fun, so he can go to all his other friends and boast about how he fought side by side with me, you know, the strongest. The way the fight went down is that Kiryu got his back blown out after only taking one stock off of his opponent. In 2v2s, especially ranked 2v2, the average player would watch their teammate die and lose all hope. But as inhumane as it may sound, watching Kiryu die brought me pure joy. Then he spoke. God, I mean Waffle. They both have 2 stocks, each meaning 4 stocks in total. How are you possibly going to defeat them? It felt like the entire world stopped for a second once he answered me that question, and I just looked at him. I looked at him, and I was like, don't worry. I'm the strongest. He was so surprised by the aura, the pure aura I was emitting, and he just fainted. And this is a little bit off topic, but you guys know who the Hulk is. You guys know the Hulk. I feel like that nigga really just has a really shitty power. He always has to suppress his powers and emotions, and if he let loose, niggas gonna call him a fucking monster and try to like apprehend his ass. Like, I forgot exactly what comic this was, but there was a comic where Hulk was fighting Sentry, and like Hulk was like going crazy and shit like that, and Sentry could relate to Hulk, and he was like, does it feel good to just let loose sometimes? Because Sentry was also a really strong being who always had to hold his powers back, and he was only able to let it loose when Hulk decided to start going crazy. I remember when I first read that, I thought that was like cool as shit. I thought that was really cool, that whole little scene, but I never really understood it. In this moment, fighting these two sweats and being freed from the clutches of worrying about the safety of my boy, I felt so good. I felt free. All I felt was the pleasantness of the earth. I felt like throughout the heavens and the earth, I was the honored one. I proceeded to beat the dog shit out of these two sweats, and it felt so beautiful. It felt amazing. It was the most beautiful thing ever.